So my senior year of high school, I got punched in the face over a voicemail I didn't have anything to do with. When I tell the story, I want you to just know every main character, myself included, is an honors program student government nerd. So when these two fellow nerds came to my boyfriend's house and said that they were going to beat me up, it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. It still is. And so I went outside, because why not? And they were leaning against my car, super cool. And they were like, "We're here to get square." And I said, "What is this, West Side Story?" I legitimately snapped. And if anyone ever threatens you with physical violence, mocking them with Broadway musical references does not help the situation. I knew why one of them was there. I'd had a falling out with my best friend, Mary, at the time. And we were teenage girls, so that was followed by a lot of gossip and truths. And so she had also brought this junior girl, who I'm going to call Gremlin. And I didn't know why she was there, so I just kind of ignored her. And I looked at my friend Mary, and I said, "If you honestly think physical violence is going to solve anything, go for it." And Gremlin sucker punched me from the side. And I looked at her and said, "Not you. Why are you here?" And she said, "You left this voicemail on my phone." And that's all I heard because my boyfriend ran up and said, "Everyone has to leave or I'm going to call the cops," which is a pretty hollow threat from a weed dealer, but everyone scattered. So the next day at school, I saw Gremlin high-fiving people at campus, and I just assumed that they were telling everyone about me, that they'd punched a senior and got away with it. So I was like, I'm going to ruin her day. So I went to the principal's office and I tattled. Nerd. That's how nerds are supposed to fight. And so I told the principal, and the principal asked me into the office, and they called in our sheriff's deputy that was assigned to our campus, and then they called in Gremlin. And Gremlin walked in, saw me, vice principal, sheriff's deputy, and started crying immediately. And I was like, "Oh, they're so tough." Also, like, you hit me. And she saw. So I told my spiel, and the principal asked Gremlin, "Is all of that true?" And she said yes, which good for her. And the sheriff's deputy immediately started to scare her straight. And he was like, "If she has one mark on her jaw, you would have been in juvie today." And I was like, damn, my jaw of steel. I would have loved to have seen that. So the vice principal was like, "Ugh, can you just agree that this is done?" And I was like, "Sure, I don't know why it started in the first place." And so we went our separate ways, and I thought that was it. But it turns out the vice principal called both of our parents to let them know about the incident. And Gremlin's mother called my mother and said she had proof that I left that voicemail on her daughter's phone. And I knew I hadn't, because I'm a millennial with social anxiety, so I don't call people ever, and I never leave voicemails. So I was like, all right, let's go over to that liar's house and see if her pants are on fire. And we show up, and there's Gremlin's mother and Gremlin's father. No Gremlin. And I'm like, "Excuse me, where's your evil spawn?" And they're like, Gremlin's mother says, "She had a manicure appointment, and it's homecoming on Friday, so she's not going to be here." And I'm like, cool. So her crying in front of the sheriff's deputy made a lot more sense, because she was like about to face a consequence for the first time. And even that didn't happen. So first things off, Gremlin's mother admits straight away she did not have proof because I didn't do it, and she was hoping I would just confess to it. And I was like, I'm dealing with just parents of the year right now. And then I go, "Can we listen to the voicemail? I would love to know what's on it." And so we listened to the voicemail. This is all that's on it. "I'm going to tell your mom that you do drugs, and your mom works at a hospital, so she's going to test you and find out." That's the whole voicemail I got punched for. And in the ensuing silence, Gremlin's father goes, "Well, it's not her. It's not her voice." So we left, and as we were leaving, we saw Gremlin being driven in with an SUV with Mary, and their manicure was done. And my dad got into the car. We're all buckling up, and my dad says, "We all know whose voice that was in the voicemail, right?" And me, my mom, my dad, at the same time say the same name, Mary. And to this day, I have no idea if Gremlin really was that dumb that she couldn't recognize that voice, or if it was like a giant manipulation. It doesn't matter. The only thing I took away from this is that fighting is stupid. And if you're really confused about the way someone's acting, you should meet their parents. It's illuminating.